All right, Joe, we are live. You start us off.
All right. Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to our live chat. We're going to go over the most recent week long Hoover length or measurement division tournament that we held, which was pretty exciting. Also, go over our event that's going to be on Saturday. It's going to be both divisions. It's the single day from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Um, I looked at the weather. Weather seemed it's not going to be the greatest day, but I feel comfortable with us going out there with how it's sitting right now. I will be available at the park or at the parking lot at Oxbow around 5:30, so everyone can come. We can do live wells. You can check in again. Once we do a live well check, you can launch and go anywhere in the water. No rods in the water until 7 o'clock. So there's that blackout period between 5:30 and 7 a.m. where you can cast net only for bait, but I don't want to see rods in the water. Um, and of course, that doesn't apply for guys fishing the length division. Well, it does with rods in the water, but you don't have a live well check. You can just launch and go out wherever you want. So it's kind of first front come, first serve when it comes to getting to your location and your spots. That's something I need to usually touch on every year. Right
And
now, Mike,
I'm
what's
sorry.
that? No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I will be talking here in a second. I am just going through all of our Facebook groups and reposting this because Facebook isn't the easiest now to navigate going live, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, Mike's doing what he needs to do. Just a reminder that I have a bunch of boards, musky bumper boards, available. You know, for to lend out if you don't have a board and you're looking at fishing this tournament for the first time. Those are available. Just contact me and we'll get together before the tournament starts Saturday, and you can grab a board from me. Um, they're a little bulky, the way that we they're kind of mounted. They're not going to go anywhere for a long time. Let's put it that way. But they're a little bulky, but they are available. So you don't if you want to give this tournament a shot, that's there for you. You don't have to, aside from the tournament fee, and I know there's Mike's club fee. It's an option for you.
Real quick, the 8 viewers who are here, you can hear us, correct? I'm just making sure because I got us going in the background
Mm-hmm.
and I don't hear us. Oh, I'm gonna be so mad.
Can you guys hear us? Well, Charlie said
All
yes.
right, everyone said yeah. Okay. So maybe it's just my I haven't done this via Bluetooth yet, so that could be why I can't hear us. All right, so it's probably a me issue. That's good. All right, well, as long as everyone can hear us, we're good. Thank you very much, Joe, for the introduction. Where you left off at, you have boards for rent if somebody wants to rent a board to do the length division if they can't do the weight division. Remember, this event, you still have to choose weight or length. You can't do both. Um, there will be one event at Hoover this year where it's no holds bar, where anyone can enter either. It's August 20. Well, hold on. Let me back that up a little bit. Uh, Length guys can't necessarily enter the weight tournament because you have to have a live well. But weight guys are going to be able to enter the length division, no holds bar, no rules, on August 24th. This live we're doing right now is recapping May 3rd, or recapping the previous week long we just did, and going over the May 3rd event. You went over the boards already. You went over lines in time. You can cast net, but no lines in time between midnight and 7 a.m. Event or day of the event. That's for length and weight. Your entry fee is $100.
Yeah, $100 is a team event. 80 goes towards the standings, and 20 goes towards big fish.
Gotcha. Um, so yes and no. So river catfishing, that's a good idea if you are low on numbers for both divisions. Both divisions right now are very healthy on numbers. So the problem is when when you let them both fish, the people in the weight division are now competing for 2 pots, whereas the people in the length division can only compete for 1 pot. So it's extremely unfair. We don't want to give guys who have a live well 2 opportunities to cash when there's a set of 10 to 20 anglers who also want to compete. Because here's the problem: we've done this in the past. The top 3-4 of the tournament are going to be the top 3-4 in both. So.
And one of the reasons for the no holds barred, I don't know if you want to touch on this, is the day before, on August 23rd, you're having your national trail event.
Yes.
So you probably get some duplicate anglers, and it's something to kind of mix it up and have fun.
Yeah,
it's going to be the national trail being in town.
Yeah, the national kayak trail is going to be in town the day before, and I'm expecting a lot of those guys to stay for the next day and fish another event. This gives them an opportunity to load up on another big payday because we're going to have guys coming from potentially Kansas, Texas, Tennessee. So giving them another opportunity to double up on a payday is going to make it worth their while on that day. So that's why that day's special. We'll put it that way. I did not know that was okay. Yeah, so that's Corey. He has extra boards as well. And yeah, want to go right into the previous event we just had?
Sure.
All right. For those who don't know, we host everything on the app called Fishing Chaos. The weight division is strictly a classic check-in with Joe, how it's always been. The May 5th event got canceled, so instead of having to go out and get another permit, we just did a week-long event. I'm sorry, the April 5th event, yes, got canceled. So instead of having to get out another permit, Joe had a great idea of doing a week-long event instead. 88 entries. I actually looked at those stats today. 54 of those were Fish Ohios. 54 of the 88 were Fish Ohios, were 35 inches or bigger. And that doesn't include all the Fish Ohios that anglers just didn't submit because they already had 3 Fish Ohios on their leaderboard.
And I think the entire average, if I'm not mistaken, is above a Fish Ohio.
Yeah. So there was one angler who signed up who wasn't able to fish. We had 10 total anglers, nine submitted fish. A Fish Ohio average would have been a score of 105. And we ended up with the lowest angler being Brandon Hunter, who's a very strong angler, by the way, finished with 113.25. Any one of these scores could win any single day tournament ever on Hoover in either division. These scores are phenomenal. And what's going to sound even crazier is the very last night, Sunday, in an hour span, there was another boat that went out and put 129 inches up in their best 3 who wasn't even in the tournament. So
yeah, that was Ryan and Rob.
Yeah, we are blessed with a very good fishery that's only getting better. First place was Corey Jeffers, 127.75. We'll go through his fish here in a second. Jacob Leake finished in second at 126. Blaine Peterman finished in third at 120.75. Garen Frazier, fourth, 120. Matt Stewart, fifth, 117.5. Shane, how do you pronounce his last name? Holsha? Shane Holsha with 117 even. Alva Jones with 115.5. Please don't kill me, Alva. And Joe Hatfield, 115. Brandon Hunter, 113.25. A lot of these guys were first-time fishermen in this event or rookies. And I'll be honest, I barely had to do any DQs. Adjustments are always going to happen in every tournament. I barely had any DQs. The main DQ I would say was blurry photo. Remember, we have to have everything has to be legible, the numbers on the board and the letters on the identifier, and the entire identifier has to be legible and visible in the photo. But other than those 2 things, I would say we had like a 97% approval rate. And that's phenomenal considering I would say 80% of the anglers, 50% of the anglers were brand new. What was your personal experience like catching the fish, measuring the fish, all that fun stuff? And give me your experience running 3 rods as opposed to 6. Do you think you were at a giant disadvantage? Did you think it didn't matter? What's your opinion there?
No, honestly, running 3 rods didn't matter. I mean, a couple of years ago, we could only run 2 per person. So, it's just pretending it was, 2019 again. And I had my daughter and my dog on the boat, so it was a little chaotic at times. The dog really liked licking the blue cats. No, but as far as getting the fish on and measuring them. The first couple it took me a minute to kind of get used to it. Then I kind of found out different ways to kind of set them, and different ways to get that tail kind of flat down the board to get a good picture. No, I was impressed. I also didn't mind not having to take care of the worst pets in the world for 8 hours, which is what we do in the weight division. We just take them off to get a photo, chuck them back, and no, I really like the setup. And honestly, as far as conservation goes, I think it's outstanding for the fish. And no, I really like the format. Like I said, the rod limit didn't bother me at all. Honestly, it just meant that I use less bait and I didn't have to work as hard on to find bait. So I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I am looking now at your fish specifically, 40.5.
That one, actually, I'm looking at the nose. I might have lost a half inch on him.
Yep. So even on the musky bumper, that's one of the bigger complaints on the musky bumper is the nose, the bump isn't high enough, so you lose sometimes a 1/4 inch, half inch. I actually thought of a way to get around this. I'm going to drill, because you're allowed to alter your musky bumper. What I mean by that is you're allowed to drill holes in it to make it more efficient for you as an individual angler. I'm about to drill a circle in the nose of my bump so I can have my fish grips go through it and pull the fish to my bump. So my fish grips are holding it to the bump, as opposed to where the way I normally do it is I have my fish grips on the fish above the bump. Let me show you what I mean real quick. It's hard to explain. Let me go to last month's slot, and I will show you exactly what I mean. So if you go to my fish here, all right, so you see how I have the fish grips on top and it's pulling the fish over. I'm gonna drill a hole, a circular hole right here, so my fish grips can go through this bump and it can grab the lower lip and pull the fish to the bump, as opposed to pulling the fish's lip over the bump. See, in a kayak, a lot of us will keep them gripped just in case they flop out, because we have a much higher risk of them flopping out. I think that's going to make my life a lot easier bumping them up to the front of the board without losing any inches. So just want to toss that out there as a possible suggestion.
Yeah, I think, the event overall, I'm really excited. I thought it was awesome. We had a good time. What I would do is I'd probably limit the number of days. I'll be honest, by the time Sunday rolled around, I was worn out. I made 4 trips. I did, Tuesday, Thursday, I was out for like 2.5 hours. I had my daughter and my dog with me. Went out for a little bit Friday and a little bit Saturday. And then by that time I was pretty much toast. I estimate I probably had 13 to 14 hours on the water with lines in. So by the time Sunday rolled around, I didn't go out, and then the lake was on fire, and I'm like getting all knocked down all the way to almost last. So
I had a couple anglers tell me, they almost got fired this week, because the juices get flowing, and you see other people putting boards, fish up. You get the fear of missing out. So I love the fact that we did do a true 1 week tournament. I do love that we did a full 1 week tournament. Something we did talk about earlier during the week, though, and I think if we ever have to do another event like a week long, instead of doing a full week long, we do one where it's still a week long event, but each angler has to choose a time slot during that week where they fish. This way, everyone's still guaranteed to get the same time on the water, and no one's risking getting fired from their jobs. So, for instance, we can do 8 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, anything in that window. We'll just say, again, it's a Monday through a Sunday tournament. You can fish on Wednesday. You would just have to tell me before Wednesday you plan on making your time slot on Wednesday. Let me know, and then only your fish on Wednesday will count towards your score. I hide all the results until the very, very end, and then at the very end of the tournament, I release them. And the reason we would hide the results until the very end is because, hypothetically speaking, if you go out on Hoover knowing you have to get 101 inches to win the tournament, it's much easier to plan for 101 inches than it is for 120. So we want anglers going out there as if they need to produce their best score no matter what. So we don't want any angler having an unfair advantage going into their time slot. So down the road, if we do another week-long event, we'll definitely make it so that anglers have to choose a time slot. But I'm not gonna lie, I am very happy that we did at least one.
I am
Maybe
too.
maybe make it like a one time a year thing where we make it just a full week long on Hoover, and just call it like Hell Week. But there's other things that are great. There's other things that are great for this too. Is the week long event. So one of the main points of doing online events is CPR and the health of the fish. We're kind of being hypocritical doing a week long event because we had 5 to 6, 7 anglers out there every day, every single day, putting pressure on the fish trying to catch them. We don't want that in the long run. Doing it 1 week every now and then isn't a big deal, but we do also have to consider the fish's health. And putting on too many week-long events where it's no holds bar, I don't think would be healthy for the fishery. But like I said, I'm so glad we did it this one time. Let me actually catch up. We actually have a lot of people chatting.
Yeah, it gave us just kind of a blueprint to work with for future events, and just kind of starting with the gates wide open, I think was a good call.
Yeah, Joe, you can do that as long as it's straight up. You can do that. That's fine. That's not we'll have to circle back on that. That's not a terrible idea. Alva just suggested, let's say we did a week-long event where you can only do 8 hours. What if it's $50 per 8 hours? I mean, that's just going to grow the pot, and you're putting more. You're essentially just like a new angler every time. So we'll table that. I do like that idea. We'll table that. I actually like that a lot. I like that a lot more than I thought I would. And we'll table that, because here's the thing: someone with an addictive personality, gamblers who can't stop doing the penny slots.
Yeah.
If one of those guys end up in the tournament, they're going to do 8 hours. If they don't like their score, they're going to put another 50 in to do another 8 hours, and they're going to put another 50 in to do another 8 hours. So,
yeah.
The only flip side of that would be, even those guys who can't help themselves and put the pennies in the penny slots, they do hit a jackpot eventually. It's Alva just said that's me. So yeah, and I thought we had an absolutely amazing event. Anglers did awesome. I'm going to be sharing the results with the ODNR. Let me pull this off screen here for a second. Sometimes people do ask, how do you know people aren't cheating, etc. So I'm going to pull up the heat map, and I'm not going to zoom in because I have a lot of pressure on my personal shoulders not to, give away angler spots. You don't want to do that as an administrator of an online event. So if you guys can see here, I get a heat map of where all the fish were pictured and submitted from. This heat map currently is only where they were submitted from, it's only where they were pictured. So I'm not going to go in much further, but this is Hoover. There's only dots on Hoover. So this is actually how I know there was no cheating in this event, because all the dots were on Hoover. Now, if there was a dot down here on the Ohio River, or if I zoomed out and there was a dot down here in like Alabama, then I would be able to click on that dot and find out which angler submitted it from there. But this is normally a concern with someone who's newer. Like, hey, how do you know people aren't cheating? This is one of my fail safes. This is how I know. Now, only I get this information. No one else does. And I'm actually going to get off of here right now. That way I don't accidentally zoom in any further. But yeah, that's one of our fail safes. And that's another reason for the identifier. The identifier is only available to me before the event comes out. No one else has access to the identifier, which is why when a picture is submitted with an identifier and the heat stamp shows me where it's caught from, that's essentially how we know for sure it was caught after the identifier became available. Let's see here.
But what this event did do is it really helped showcase just what kind of fishery we have here at Hoover. I mean, these are some pretty awesome numbers. And like I said, most of the fish, you only have 88 fish, but God knows how many others were caught, and even, more fish Ohio's. This is just kind of a pretty crazy week in tournament. And I had a lot of fun with it. So
I would venture off to guess 500 fish were caught. That's just my personal opinion. I think 500 fish were caught amongst the 10 anglers. If I just had to guess, 88 is just what got submitted. That's just what got submitted. So all those anglers that already had 3 fish over 35 inches on their board, every time they caught a fish, they didn't submit it. They just threw it back in the water because there's no point in submitting it at that point. Because I know a lot of anglers who had like multiple 10 to 30 fish days, but they just couldn't upgrade their score. So yeah, dude, I swear to you, I genuinely believe of the 9 anglers, I would not be surprised if 500 fish were caught throughout that week. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. And this fish right here is the smallest big fish of an individual angler, which is awesome. I'm telling you right now, 2 of these and 3 unders at Rising Sun wins Rising Sun every year. And that's a 200 boat tournament, 2-day 200 boat tournament. So that just goes to show one of 2 things. It either goes to show the strength of our fishery at Hoover or how bad the Ohio River got, or both.
Right. No, like I said, one part I really did enjoy is these fish weren't putting live wells, and that part. That's something I really enjoyed. Is you just catch them, measure them, chuck them back in. They're not out of the water, not getting stressed, not putting live wells. So that was from a conservation standpoint, I was really happy with it.
Yeah, it's a giant win. It's an absolute giant win. And something else I love more is I love seeing the kayakers getting involved with this too, because it just goes to show anyone can do it. Anyone can compete, because if a kayaker can measure a 42-inch blue cat in his kayak, anyone can measure a fish in any vessel. It's a win. It's a win. There's no loss in this. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, and like I said, with the Hoover Cats, I'm still going to maintain the weight division. I just this does open up opportunities, and that's one of the reasons we started this a couple of years ago. Is just to open up the opportunities for everybody who couldn't have a boat that could support 400 or 500 gallon live well to keep these fish alive. It's an expensive endeavor. Now anybody can compete, and I think we a couple of years ago opening that door, we've seen a lot of people come into the sport.
Yeah. Actually, another great thing too, let me pull up the screen real quick. So Hoover has exploded a lot of the length division guys, especially in our scene. If you go to our regional month-long last month, let's see here, Big 5, we had the most anglers we've ever had ever, and we had 22. And we had, just real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know about Cody. 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I'm stopping here. 9. 9 of the first 15 people are Hoover guys. That doesn't include everyone else. So like almost probably more than half of the regional is related to or do fish Hoover events. Now let's go to we set a record for our month-long events for the slot tournament. We had 35 or 30 anglers, which we broke again this month. And if you go down through here, a lot of these anglers too also fish Hoover. So the Hoover growing isn't just also growing Hoover, it's growing the sport as a whole. And a lot of these guys, they go and fish the National Kayak Trail. The National Kayak Trail last month, let's just see how many Hoover guys fished last month at Wheeler. So we had 11 guys fish Wheeler last night in the National Kayak Trail. Adam's not from here, but he's fished Hoover before. That's a Hoover local, Hoover local, Hoover local, Hoover local, Hoover. 5 of the 11 national guys are guys who fish Hoover events. So the impact that you're having on the whole scene is phenomenal. It's amazing. So
Allison mentioned the reason they don't do tournaments is they don't have a live well. Well, you can do tournaments, this way. If you don't need a live well.
Yeah.
If you're interested, I mean, honestly, it's a good group of guys. We have a really solid group of people, who fish these events, especially up here in Hoover. Don't see too much drama, and everyone's willing to help each other out. So,
I don't think we have any. I really don't think we have any.
Yeah.
Another thing, if anyone watching this is interested in getting involved, if you go to the Online Catfishing Tournaments YouTube page, go to playlists, look up the 2025 important videos. That will get you started, and then hit me and Joe up with questions. The 2025 important videos, these 4 videos are general information videos. You'll know everything you need to know to fish our events if you watch these 10 total minutes worth of videos, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute. Then it's just a matter of doing your research on which series that you want to dedicate to. And I also try and have a playlist dedicated to each series that we host. Yeah, and that's all I have on that topic. Is there anything else you could think of?
Unless anybody had any questions about this Saturday's tournament. I know, most guys I see here, are old pros at it, and they know what's going on. And I kind of gave a quick overview at the start of the video, so I really don't have anything.
Awesome. I'm
Just,
gonna pull.
just a thank you for the guys who competed and everyone who followed it, and it was a fun event, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it was we had 9 anglers, but it was pretty successful, in my opinion. So I just really want to say thank you to all the guys who come out and compete in these events.
And then we have someone. Look, River Catfishing is offering, or Corey said he's offering some stuff. I think 2 extra boards or kayaks, etc. And then, that's actually Joe Sheffer. Where will we pick up rental boards? That's a great question.
You can PM me, and you can either pick it up. Like I said, I'll be in the parking lot at Oxbow around 5:30 on Saturday. You can meet me then and grab one. I'll bring a few extra with me. Or if you want to get it the night before, you can shoot me a message directly.
And then let's see here. Oh, hey, sponsor. Hey, that's the owner of Raccoon Creek Outfitters. Oh, you guys know how I was just bragging about how many Hoover fishermen have fished all the other events that we host? Well, I would be willing to bet 95% of all those people I just mentioned got their kayak from Dustin Hoy. So it's like it's been a beautiful marriage for honestly for all of us. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Oh, real quick before I forget, I want to because I haven't made it official. I'm really glad Dustin said it. The Shane Henderson Memorial Tournament. There's going to be a few other things going on. Well, I called Joe when I was either on my way to or on my way home from Alabama. The Shane Henderson Memorial Tournament, we're going to be taking the top 5 points standing people from every single trail that we host. They're all going to be invited to go to Raccoon Creek Outfitters that Friday night, October 25th. We're going to have a party, and then there's going to be a separate pot for all of those guys at the Shane Henderson Memorial Tournament at Hoover. So it's going to be kind of a celebration of all the trails that we're currently doing in Ohio, because in Ohio we have not only this phenomenal Hoover Trail. In Ohio, we also have 2 other trails. We have the Ohio Inland River Series Trail and the Ohio Link Series. So the top, and we have the month-long, which is a regional Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky series. So the top 5 anglers from every series that we host is going to be invited to Raccoon Creek Outfitters the night before the Shane Henderson Memorial. And then the Shane Henderson Memorial, we're going to have a side pot for all those anglers. In theory, it should be 20 anglers or so. We're going to have a side pot for all those anglers as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I suspect to be very hungover for that event, just saying. So
also a reminder, August 22nd. We did it last year where I rented out Red Bank Slaughterhouse for the check-in, Mike's check-in. We'll probably have some vendors, and I'll cook food for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be like a kind of a week-long event for most of us.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite weeks of the year last year. We had I think I came up to your house like Thursday night, hung out, worked on Friday. Then we did the check-in Friday, ate, hung out with everybody. We had a tournament. Actually, no, we didn't have a tournament Saturday, unfortunately.
Yeah, it got rained out.
It got rained out, and we had the 2 tournaments on Sunday. So I'll be there till Sunday, no matter what, though, because I'm doing both events. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is going great. We averaged over 10 viewers this entire time, so our advertising this time actually worked. I've been struggling with Facebook not being reliable on these lives, so I do apologize to everyone for that. Um,
All right.
but yeah, do you have anything else?
No, if anybody has any questions or if you need to pick up a board, just send me a message and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Everyone have a good one. I'm off to darts.
See ya.
See you, bud.